Drivers, to your...
Hello everyone and welcome to the 2004 Gatorade Duels here at the Daytona International Speedway. Those of you who don't know, we are starting a new NSDCA mock seasons. However, of course, this is a career mode of sorts for a lot of people who wanted to start their own teams or run teams that were in the 2004 season. Let me speed this up a little bit. But it is a way for teams to just be a team owner. And you just have to drive, you just have to run your team and make sure they can thrive and go for championships. Hopefully, be able to make this more than just a few races like every other side project that I've tried to do. But of course, the Daytona 500 starts off the season, and it is the Gatorade Duels at Daytona. Kurt Busch has locked himself in on the pole for the Daytona 500. He starts alongside Michael Waltrip, Kevin Harvick, and Jeff Gordon in row number 2, with Jeremy Mayfield and Tony Stewart row 3, Matt Kenseth, Bobby Labonte row 4, row 5 is Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jamie McMurray. Now here's where reality takes a bit of a turn. First one of the season, Martin Truex Jr. in the number 1 for the Daytona 500, but it is Adrian Fernandez in the 84 car for Hendrick. There with Elliott Sadler, Jeff Burton behind them. You have Ward Burton and Ricky Craven, Scott Riggs, Brendan Gaughan, Ken Schrader, Dave Blaney, Sterling Marlin, and J.J. Yaley already in that number 11, with Derek Cope and Jason Leffler, Hermie Sadler and Kirk Shelmerdine, Boris said Johnny Andretti, Kevin Ray, and Brad Teague rounding out the field. Let's go down trackside for the commands to duel number 1.
Drivers, start your engines!
Engines have been fired here at Daytona, and we are ready to go for 25 laps in the qualifying duel for the Daytona 500. A lot of drivers just looking to make their way in. The top 15 that are not Kurt Busch make their way into the show by racing it in. After that, it is the top 30 drivers from the two duels. The first 15 not starting on the front row, which are Kurt Busch. And that there is Dave Blaney, not taking it to the start. And the way this will work, we'll get one redo to make sure everyone gets through. If no one gets through on this side, start. But we may as well restart just to start this season off strong. Jeff Gordon. Okay, we're going to restart once again. Oh, God. Already a train wreck of a start here. Let's see, does everyone get off the pit road this time? No, they freaking don't. Why is there so many issues? You try to be dramatic, but no one wants to drive. Okay, are we having everyone make the duel at least? Everyone should at least make the duel. Everyone should start the duel. But oh boy, what a great way to start off this custom season by 15 drivers not being able to make the start of the race. But there are 30 drivers in this field. There are 42 that, of course, can only make a start in NR 2003. So that means 18 drivers with a 30 duel each. That makes 60 drivers. 18 of those drivers will not be making it to the Daytona 500. The thing is, though, each of these teams paid $100,000 to get their cars prepared and entered into the Daytona 500. 18 of those teams will lose $100K coming out of this race. But as long as that's if they keep their cars clean. Each of these cars costs $150K each. Engines, of course, $70 to $80K, and the bodies of the cars, the rest of that amount. All these teams looking to keep it clean, not cost themselves any more cash here at the Daytona 500. It is 30 drivers, 25 laps. The first 15 lock their way in. Qualifying times, owners' points, and even a champions provisional will help the rest get into the show. Kurt Busch and Michael Waltrip will lead us off with turn number 4. The first duel is in the daytime. The second one transfers into the nighttime. And we'll see who will win both of these. Kurt Busch and Michael Waltrip leading us down. Kurt Busch, your pole sitter for the 500, as long as he finishes this race here clean. Coming down to the green flag. The restart zone in hand. Green flag is in the air here at Daytona. And Kurt Busch leads us down in that number 97 Ford. 30 cars making moves. Who's blown up at the back of the pack? Kevin Ray in the 90. We took the green flag, so it's over. But Junie Dunleavy's number 90 team will not be making the Daytona 500. Kevin Ray, a driver who never made a NASCAR start in his real life, will DNF the Daytona 500 right there. Kurt Busch now going up. He takes that top line. He's going to try to get Michael Waltrip and Jeff Gordon hooked up behind him. 2x2, 3 wide for the back. Boris said making some moves. Derek Cope in that 59 on the inside, but Kevin Harvick leads us into turn number 3 on that inside line. 2 and 3 wide further back. 2x2 by 2x2. Kevin Harvick is the driver out in front. It was Ryan Newman who went to the win in the Budweiser shootout on Saturday night. If you guys did not see that, that was radio broadcasted yesterday. But Kevin Harvick now leads. He was in that Bud shootout as well. Jeremy Mayfield in that Evernham Dodge. He's going to look to the inside. He makes the move on Kevin Harvick. Jamie McMurray making a big move down to the inside. 3x3 further back. There's Derek Cope, Ken Schrader, and the rest. That right there is the cutoff. Just around there is just about 15th. We will set the standings on the battle for the cutoff right there for that 15th spot. Dale Earnhardt Jr. making it 4 wide into the corner. Mayfield and Kenseth on the inside. Almost some contact there. Michael Waltrip goes up to the top of the track. Will these guys make it out of turn number 4? 4 wide, and they do. Kevin Harvick is your race leader here at Daytona. 3x3 further back. Now Mayfield gets shuffled up once again. 3x3 behind that number 29 of Kevin Harvick. Elliott Sadler. There's Martin Truex Jr. in that number 1 car. Adrian Fernandez in that 84 being brought on to Hendrick Motorsports. An Indy, or I don't know if he was an IndyCar driver. He's a He's a Mexican-born driver. He sits right now in the middle, top 15, just trying to hang on and survive. There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that number 8. He's trying to get out to the front and lead here at Daytona, but Elliott Sadler now makes the move down to the inside. 2 and 3 wide all throughout this pack as we run. There is Ward Burton for Haas CNC Racing. He's up now into the top 10. He's up into the 6th position. Derek Cope further back in that 50, a past Daytona 500 champion. The Champions Provisional does not go to him this year, so this 50 team has to race their way in. No points on that 50 car. Same for Hermie Sadler in that 02. He's trying to get up there with his own single car operation. Boris Said came up so close in the Bud shootout in that number 01. He finished 2nd in that. Right now he sits inside that top 15. Brendan Gaughan as well making moves. There's Greg Biffle, Tony Stewart, J.J. Yaley. There's Kirk Shelmerdine. That's not Biffle, that's Kirk Shelmerdine. But J.J. Yaley now has Brad Teague pushing him with Jason Leffler. 2 and 3 wide. These guys all got to get up to the front, try to race their way into the show. Dave Blaney sitting at the back. Johnny Andretti as well. There's Kevin Ray. Maybe he'll be able to get back up there. But Elliott Sadler right now leads in the first of 2 duels. Lap number 5. He did this in the Bud shootout. Led for 6 laps on the opening stint. Now Jamie McMurray going to look to the inside of Ward Burton. That's for that 2nd position. McMurray for Chip Ganassi Racing dives down to the inside. Scott Riggs in that 10. He moves up to 4th. Derek Cope in that 50 up to 5th. Dale Jr. dropping to 6th. 7th Hermie Sadler. 8th Kenseth. 9th Boris Said. And 10th Kevin Harvick. That means 15th right now sits Bobby Labonte. J.J. Yaley in that number 11. He's working to the inside. All 3 Joe Gibbs cars in this duel. You also see 2 of the Hendrick cars working together in that middle line. But as they run right now, Jamie McMurray will take that lead away from Elliott Sadler. 2 and 3 wide. 2 wide up front, 3 wide further back. These guys looking to be calm up in this top 15 because they know at this point they are locked in. Jamie McMurray in that 42 is now out in front with the number 0 of Ward Burton moving into 2nd. Scott Riggs for MB2 Motorsports. He moves up into 3rd, but now he's going to get a nose under Ward Burton, not Jack Sprague, for 2nd. 3 wide further back. You see Jeff Burton, Dave Blaney all the way back here. Ricky Craven as well. John Andretti in that 14 moving all the way to the outside line. And Jeff Gordon with his new teammate Adrian Fernandez in that 84. Those two are trying to work together. Now Gordon dumps that 84 to that outside line. Tony Stewart in an inverted number 20 car. There you see all the Joe Gibbs Racing cars. The number 11, the number 20, and the number 18 are the Joe Gibbs Racing drivers. 20 and 18 full time. That number 11, though, is not. J.J. Yaley making only a few starts this season, running mostly in the Busch Series in that number 11 Old Spice Chevrolet. Back up front, they're getting wild again. Jamie McMurray keeping the race lead, but here comes Elliott Sadler, and he still has Dale Earnhardt Jr. pulling him around this track. Sadler now going to clear himself into second in front of Ward Burton, just squeezes in. Derek Cope trying to leave Dale Earnhardt Jr. to that middle line. Cope, though, has no help with him. Now he might be able to get to the inside of Jr. That he does. And Elliott Sadler now for Robert Yates Racing makes the move right back to the race lead in that number 38. Stewart and Yaley got real close further back there, but they're starting to get a bit more aggressive back in the pack, even up front, but now it's back to Elliott Sadler in that race lead. McMurray up to second. Derek Cope in that Arnold Motorsports number 50. Can he make the Daytona 500? He is up to that third position. What a run he's having, the 1990 Daytona 500 champion in this number 50 car. Could he be the big underdog story today? As you also see Boris said, a road course ace, the road course dude, in that number 36. He's up there in that fourth position now, making a move to the inside of Dale Jr., and it's Jamie McMurray taking the lead right back from that number 38. 2 and 3 wide as they go still through the pack. But here's one driver we got to talk about. What is going on with Jeff Gordon today in that DuPont number 24? He's stuck at the very back of the pack right now, sitting in the 25th position outside of the Daytona 500 right now. But Bobby Labonte now going to come down and help him. He's trying to help Adrian Fernandez get into the show. Ken Schrader in that 49 starting to drop back, but 3 wide here at Daytona in the first duel, making it an aggressive day. Ricky Craven for PPI Motorsports, one of the only Pontiacs left in the field. No, wait, he's the Chevy. Who's the Pontiac? Pontiac still here in 04? I don't know. I'm stupid. Derek Cope now into the race lead, pulling away with now Boris Said in that 36. Look at Brendan Gaughan and Kirk Shelmerdine in that 72. Where did Kirk Shelmerdine come from? He's up into the top 10 in that 72 car, but it is Derek Cope leading at Daytona right now. Second is the 36 of Boris Said. Third, Jamie McMurray. McMurray does not want to drop to the back at all this race. He's been in the top 10 the entire time. Brendan Gaughan now up to fourth. You see starting to get more aggressive. There's Ward Burton in that 0 getting shoved to the outside. Hermie Sadler as well, but now Boris Said making a move. Brendan Gaughan in that 77 for Penske. He's going to dive down to the inside. They are almost 4 wide further back. Scott Riggs getting real close to him. Martin Truex Jr. real close to Kevin Harvick, but the field continues to drive around this track, trying to keep themselves into the show of the Daytona 500. What underdogs will we see in the big race this weekend? But Boris Said now continuing to lead for MB2 Motorsports. 77 of Brendan Gaughan. What a run he's had last season in 2003. Of course, the truck championship that just got away from him. He got taken out by Jimmy Smith's number 1 of Ultra Motorsports for the championship. It was the number 10 Ultra Motorsports car. But right now, this 77 team and Brendan Gaughan looking to shock everyone, maybe even win the duel. Where did Front Row Motorsports number 92 of Brad Teague come from? He's up here inside this top 10. What a run for this team. Can they make the 500 with just one little sponsor on them, the People's Bank, on that 92? But he's getting help from Tony Stewart, getting pushed up to the front. JJ Yaley as well there. Adrian Fernandez in that 84 is moving his way up. But another driver who has not made any moves at all, Sterling Marlin in this 40 car. Looks like he's struggling big time for Chip Ganassi Racing in the 40, as he is right now not gotten into the top 15 at all. Tony Stewart now ducking down to the inside. He's going to bring pole sitter Kurt Busch with him. Brendan Gaughan looking to make a move there. As they go off into the corner, you see the flyby of all 29 cars still in this field. Boris Said continuing to lead in the 36. There is a crash. Something happened at the back of the track. Boris Said is leading us back around. Caution is out. Who is involved? Jeremy Mayfield, Matt Kenseth with heavy damage. Martin Truex Jr., Ken Schrader might have got a piece of it. Bobby Labonte, wherever Bobby's going. But a few cars now involved in a crash here at the Daytona International Speedway. Matt Kenseth's day totaled in that 17. Martin Truex Jr. in the 1 destroyed. Jeremy Mayfield's 19 as well. Pretty beat up. So we'll go ahead and get a replay of that. No need for pit stops in this 25-lap event, I don't believe. But it is Boris Said out in front of the field with Kurt Busch second, Elliott Sadler third, Tony Stewart fourth, Derek Cope up in fifth, Brendan Gaughan sixth, 7th, Brad Teague. 8th, Kirk Shelmerdine. 9th, Jamie McMurray. And 10th, Adrian Fernandez. 11th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 12th, J.J. Yaley. 13th, Bobby Labonte. 14th, Ward Burton. And Jeff Gordon sits 15th with Hermie Sadler 16th. Riggs 17th. Craven, Harvick, and Leffler your top 20. Burton, Waltrip, Andretti, Blaney, Marlin top 25. Ken Schrader, then Mayfield, Truex, and no one else. Matt Kenseth has taken their car behind the wall. The 90 as well has just pulled off. They are out. Boris said, bringing it around with Kurt Busch. We'll see if anyone has to come down for pit stops. I do not believe in a 25-lap event like this we will need pit stops. But what a battle we've seen so far, and a crash to make it interesting. Jeremy Mayfield and Martin Truex Jr. will take us down pit road. Let's go and take a replay of what happened here to take out 4 drivers from this event. Okay, great job, Truex. Martin Truex coming down the back straightaway in this one car, pushing Sterling Marlin to the bottom, and he's trying to get in front of him, is going to get hooked by Marlin right there. They get together, slide up into Matt Kenseth, nowhere for Kenseth or Mayfield to go. But those 3 are the impact there. We'll go ahead and get a few onboards of this crash. So on board with Sterling Marlin down the back straightaway. Look at where Truex is taking him all the way down to the inside line. Marlin's still trying. He's not giving up. And he and Truex are going to make contact into the corner. Martin Truex Jr. slides up. Sterling Marlin as well, but heavy impact there for Matt Kenseth. You see Ken Schrader in that 49 just making it through. But Kenseth has been taken to the infield care center under his own power. He got out under his own power, so that is good for him. We'll take another angle of this. That is way too far back. We'll go on board out the back bumper of Ricky Craven in this number 32. So you can see Martin Truex. Look at that. Comes off the corner. You see Matt Kenseth trying to make it 4 wide there. Truex all the way down to the inside of Sterling Marlin. And shades of 2001 there with Marlin getting real close. Kevin Harvick, we're going to swap to the Kevin Harvick cam now. And Truex hits pretty hard with Matt Kenseth. Those 2 drivers both checked and released from the infield care center. We'll go ahead and get you guys back to the green flag here at Daytona. Going green this time by. We will have 9 laps to go in the event. You see the cutoff. Dale Jr., J.J. Yaley, Bobby Labonte, Ward Burton, Jeff Gordon just ahead of it. But Hermie Sadler, Scott Riggs, Ricky Craven, Kevin Harvick, and Jason Leffler behind it. Hermie Sadler has nothing he can fall back on. Neither does Jason Leffler. Nor Dave Blaney might. Derek Cope has nothing he can fall back on. Brad Teague, Kirk Shelmerdine, Adrian Fernandez, nothing those guys can fall back on at this moment. So those drivers are going to have to drive hard. Boris said as well needs to finish inside this top 15. So with only 9 laps to go in the event, we're going to see who will be the 15 drivers making the Daytona 500 with Kurt Busch, who is already locked into the show. Top 15, not counting Kurt Busch, make it in. That means right now 16th place Hermie Sadler would be in the Daytona 500. Boris said coming back to lead us around. Can the MB2 Motorsports driver shock everyone at the Super Speedway? Try to win again. Try to finish as well as he did in the Bud Shootout. Coming down with 9 to go. We're going to take the green flag once again here at Daytona. As they head down off of turn number 4. Boris said and Kurt Busch leading us down the front straightaway, coming in to the green flag. They're going to take the green flag right there. 9 to go. Brendan gone. Brad Teague make a huge move right off the bat. But now Boris said is going to be the one pulling Kurt Busch along in that 36. Brad Teague is now going to leave Kirk Shelmerdine to dry. J.J. Yaley in that 11 now to dry. Brendan gone is going to make a move to the inside of the 50 of Derek Cope, but now Boris said leads us with Kurt Busch, Elliott Sadler, Tony Stewart, now Brendan gone in that 77. He's going to get back there as well. Dale Earnhardt Jr. a little slow. You see Mayfield and Truex. Those are the 2 drivers who will not be in the fight here at the end. But now Kurt Busch, your pole sitter for the 500. I think he wants to win the duel too. He's going to take the race lead headed in to turn number 3. Tony Stewart and Brendan Gaughan as well up to push. You see Kirk Shelmerdine in that 72. Can he be the upset with Brad Teague to make the 500? There's Jamie McMurray, Adrian Fernandez. You also have J.J. Yaley, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Michael Waltrip, 2001 and 2003, the defending Daytona 500 champion, is right now outside of the top 15 in this duel. Brendan Gaughan now working to the inside, 3 wide, with Kirk Shelmerdine to push. Boris Said is now going to be the one odd man out on the very outside line. Kurt Busch takes the race lead here at the duel coming off of the corner. Now Kirk Shelmerdine up to the middle line. Brendan Gaughan jumps down to that middle line to bring Kirk with him. 20, how many are in this front pack? 26 cars in this front pack. Only 15 of them can advance. Who will be the ones above that cutoff point? Jamie McMurray now in that 42. He's making his way back to the front. Ward Burton as well. Here comes Jeff Burton in that 99. He's further back here. But we'll take a look around the cutoff point right there, I believe. The 99, he is 18th, so there's the cutoff point. The battle between Jason Leffler and Adrian Fernandez as they run. Kurt Busch is ahead of them, so that is the first driver out of it. Jeff Burton in that number 99 as Brendan Gaughan leads here in the second duel. Sterling Marlin across 3 lanes of traffic in the back. What is Marlin doing? He is making moves trying to get to the front, but that 40 car just seems too underpowered for him to be able to move towards the front. That 40 car making some dangerous moves just like he did to cause that first crash. Here comes Kirk Shelmerdine in the 72. Can he lead at Daytona? And that he will. Kirk Shelmerdine up in front at the Daytona International Speedway. What a feel-good story right now. He is battling with Brendan Gaughan. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car. DEI is looking to win again in Speed Weeks. Here comes Jr. with the push from Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports. 2 of the top teams, 2 of the top drivers. Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon, multiple time champions right there. Jamie McMurray moving to the middle line. Kirk Shelmerdine on the outside. Now Brendan Gaughan gets shuffled up. Dale Earnhardt Jr. as the crowd gets on their feet. The cheers are erupting. Here comes the Intimidator's son, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, to the race lead here, and they are almost 4 wide further back. They are 4 wide just for a minute. Michael Waltrip thinks better of it. Now DEI out in front. Tony Stewart all the way to the inside line. Can he get around Dale Earnhardt Jr.? That he will. Jr. left him the spot. Here comes Stewart. Everyone fighting 2 and 3 wide here at Daytona, trying to make the Daytona 500 and make that money count. Scott Riggs in that 10 on the inside line. Ken Schrader trying to work. John Andretti working 3 lines back there. Hermie Sadler as well. But they are 3 wide all throughout this field. Kirk Shelmerdine now getting shuffled up by Scott Riggs possibly. Coming around, we will have 4 laps to go at Daytona. Tony Stewart leads. Dale Earnhardt Jr. using that momentum. He's going to get back to the inside. Clears on the outside line. He's back into second and tucking right up behind Tony Stewart. JK, he does not want to do that. He's going to jump down all the way to the inside of Stewart, going back for that race lead. Kevin Harvick now making his way back up into this. Michael Waltrip finally in that top 15. Dave Blaney, Ricky Craven, where did they come from? They're moving up here as well. Elliott Sadler tucks back to that outside line. Scott Riggs leading the inside charge with Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton. Harvick's going to abandon him on the outside line. 4 wide into the corner. Kirk Shelmerdine, Scott Riggs make contact. Contact between Riggs. Into the wall. Kirk Shelmerdine, Brendan Gaughan. Kurt Busch is in it. The 92 is in it. Jeff Green is in it. And they're racing back to the line. Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes to the caution flag. He's going to win. Kirk Shelmerdine might have made the 500. So could Hermie Sadler have. And they wrecked behind him. That is big. In the final minutes of the race, Jeff Gordon damaged. The 92 of Brad Teague damaged. Scott Riggs, Bobby Labonte, Kurt Busch, your pole sitter, damaged, but it doesn't look like. We'll have to see if that team can repair it for the Daytona 500. How much damage is on that heavy rear end damage? Boris Said might have just missed it. And as they run right now, the cutoff is the 77 of Brendan Gaughan, depending on what the caution will be. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that number 8, looking to go back into victory lane at Daytona yet another time. Tony Stewart in 2nd, Kevin Harvick 3rd, Jeff Burton up to 4th, Michael Waltrip 5th. Kirk Shelmerdine has some heavy left side damage. We'll see what these teams pit. If they pit, there could be a lot of mechanical errors in those cars right now, but we're not sure. We do not believe we will be getting back green here. So the question is, will the AI be smart or will the AI be dumb? Kirk Shelmerdine in that 72 trying to make it. You see Derek Cope. Where did John Andretti come from? He's up to the 11th position in the duel. Coming off the corner, we're just going to take it right there. Who will pit? Boris said the 36 team is going to have to pull down. Heavy damage to that, but everyone else stays out. I think they know that we are not going back green. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now pacing the field around. You got Kirk Shelmerdine in this top 10. Dave Blaney, Derek Cope, John Andretti, even Adrian Fernandez. Hermie Sadler, Ken Schrader, and Brendan Gaughan, the top 15. That means J.J. Yaley won't be making the 500. Sterling Marlin and Jamie McMurray, both of Chip Ganassi Racing, are going to have to hope on provisionals. Kurt Busch, of course, he was locked in. Bobby Labonte, via points last season, will be able to point his way in. Jeff Gordon as well will be able to point his way in, but everyone else is just sitting unknown. Boris Said's team did not even repair anything. 36 team now is coming back out, but we will speed this up to the next time around. Pit stops. Does anyone come in another time? No. Boris said 36 team. I don't know what they're doing, but he wouldn't have made the show anyway. Heading down the back straightaway, it looks like Dale Jr. is going to be the one to win, and you can see where your favorite driver, where your team is running right now, with 15th being that bright yellow 77 of Brendan Gaughan. A big crash at the end. 2 crashes during this race have been knocked out some big contenders. But Kirk Shelmerdine, an underdog, Hermie Sadler, 2 teams that are running off their own funding, are going to be in the Daytona 500, along with John Andretti in that 14 team. But J.J. Yaley, some Joe Gibbs Racing, both of Chip Ganassi, will not make it through from the duel. We'll see what'll happen. There will be a rec replay after this, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the Budweiser number 8 Chevrolet is going back to victory lane here in the Budweiser duels. And the 15 cars, they cross the line. They know who's in the Daytona 500, and everyone else in the back is just hoping they are either able to point their way in or provisional their way in. We are now going to take a quick look and see what happened to bring out this caution and to end this race in the Daytona 500. Coming to the end of the duel, it's like they were racing for the 500 and not just to make it in, but we're going to slow it down right here. Coming down the back straightaway, it is Scott Riggs. He's going to get forced 4 wide by Kevin Harvick, heading in to the corner. You see further back, Adrian Hernandez in that 84. They were pretty close back there with the 11, the 18. But Junior and Stewart just diving all the way across 4 lanes of traffic. Now, right here, Scott Riggs is going to bump Kirk Shelmerdine into the corner, sending Riggs back down into Kevin Harvick. They're going to get stuck 4 wide. Brendan Gaughan is almost in the wall up there. But as they're coming down into turn number 3, through 3 and 4, Harvick hits the apron, spins him into Scott Riggs. Kirk Shelmerdine's going to hit hard, and Brendan Gaughan as well, but Jamie McMurray nowhere to go. Look at Dave Blaney, John Andretti sneak by on that inside line. Jeff Gordon gets hooked in it. Kurt Busch as well, he's going to get run into the back of by Boris Said. Down into Brad Teague. That's heartbreaking for Ward Burton's team in that 0 car. But everyone else was pretty much just held up behind. Both of the Haas CNC cars, neither of them will make the show based on their finishing positions. Jason Leffler hit Brad Teague pretty hard. Marlin and Yaley had to drive their way around that crash. Let's go ahead and take a few more angles of this. Looking out the back of Tony Stewart as they're running down into the corner. You see how stacked together these guys were, and everything just breaks in half behind him. The field disappears from behind these top 2, and everyone goes sliding around through turn number 3. Now we're going to go on board with a few more drivers and see how they either got involved or got through it. First up will be on board Brad Teague. The 92 team has nothing they can fall back on. They are out of the Daytona 500 as they stand. You see these guys just got very aggressive up in front of them, causing everyone to smash into the wall. And Teague almost gets through it, but runs into the side of Ward Burton, and his day in the 500 will not come. Now, go on board with Ken Schrader. Schrader was at the back of this pack. You see, he has nowhere to go. J.J. Yaley right in front of him. But the good thing is everyone went high. And right there, Brad Teague just barely missed that number 49 car. Ken Schrader being able to make the Daytona 500. You see, he passes Brendan Gaughan right there. If that was for a position, that'd be great. But Ward Burton too far behind Brendan Gaughan to make it. We'll go ahead and meet you guys at duel number 2.
Driver.
On to duel number 2 as night falls down upon the Daytona International Speedway. Ryan Newman was able to start himself on second on the outside of row 1 for the Daytona 500, so he will be locked into the show. Alongside him, Mark Martin in that number 6 basically locks himself in on time, as well as Casey Kane in that 9 locks himself in on time as well. Robbie Gordon is in the 31. He starts back in that 4th position. And behind him, Scott Wimmer for Bill Davis Racing, the rookie with Jimmy Johnson in 6th. Joe Nemechek in 7th. Greg Biffle in 8th. And Michael Waltrip Racing's Kenny Wallace will start 9th alongside another rookie, Brian Vickers, in 10th. Rusty Wallace 11th, with 12th being Bill Elliott. 13th, Terry Labonte. And 14th, Kevin LePage in that 51. 15th, Casey Mears. 16th is Jimmy Spencer. 17th, Ricky Rudd. 18th, Jeff Green. 19th, Mike Garvey. 20th, Kyle Petty. 21st, Johnny Benson. 22nd, Dale Jarrett. 23rd, Kerry Earnhardt. 24th, Stan Boyd. 25th, Johnny Sauter. 26th, Carl Long. 27th, Stanton Barrett. 28th, Morgan Shepherd. 29th, Eric McClure. And 30th, Andy Hillenberg.
Drivers, start your engines.
We will treat this the same as the last one. If all 30 cars do not at least make it to the front straightaway, we will restart the roll grid. But after that, it's anything goes. If we get the green flag waving and someone starts blowing up like the 90 of Ray did last time, we will not restart. You see a lot of cars going to be struggling here to make it in. Drivers who do not have any provisionals include Andy Hillenberg, Eric McClure, Morgan Shepherd, Stanton Barrett, Carl Long, Stan Boyd, Mike Garvey, and LePage might be able to make his way in on time. That's all I can see going there. Bill Elliott in that 91. He is locked into the show via his points from 2003, so it's going to be a great attempt for that. Ryan Newman in the number 12. He is your Bud Shootout winner. He won the last time these guys raced at night. Can he go 2 for 2 under the lights at Daytona? Mark Martin in that 6 car, looking to make his way in to Daytona Victory Lane tonight. Casey Kane sits 3rd. Robbie Gordon 4th. Robbie Gordon in that 31 team. It's been a disappointing few years at RCR for him. A few wins on road courses, but he's looking to get that oval victory tonight. Can he do it on a super speedway to the lights at Daytona? And Scott Wimmer in 5th. What a way to start his career off with a win in a duel at Daytona, as well as Brian Vickers, the other rookie, back in 10th. Another 25 laps at Daytona. The top 15, not counting Ryan Newman, will qualify their way into the show. Everyone else will have to go through points and will have to point their way in or go off their qualifying times. It's going to be interesting to see who will be making the 500 after this. But Ryan Newman and Mark Martin lead us down, coming down to the green flag. Newman will take the race lead, and he will be the first one, pulling away from Mark Martin. Newman takes the lead, coming on to the coming into turn number 1 down the front straightaway. That was just a shit show. Yeah, I can say that on TV, Peter. Casey Kane moves himself up into second in that number 9. He's a rookie as well who made his way into the show. So a bunch of rookies that could be showing some potential here. Johnny Sauter in that 30 further back. He's also driving for Rookie of the Year honors. And they come down the back straightaway. Ricky Rudd's going to be the first one, taking it 3 wide further back on Casey Mears. Newman gets to the inside of Casey Kane. Or Casey Kane gets to the inside of Ryan Newman. The rookies leading that bottom line in the Dodges. The Dodge train showed some speed last time. Johnny Benson getting real close in that 09 further back. Bill Elliott was all the way to the outside. Now Scott Wimmer making it 3 wide, but it's going to be Ryan Newman in that 12. Pulling away on the outside line. Scott Wimmer now to the inside line. He doesn't have a lot of help back there. Now Nemechek and Kane both getting shuffled to that middle line. But Scott Wimmer will take the lead for Bill Davis Racing here in that number 22. Casey Kane now goes up the track. He's going to go in front of the other Dodge of Ryan Newman. Kenny Wallace in that 00 for Michael Waltrip Racing. Can he make the 500 with the Aaron's Dream Machine? That'd be a show for him to see, but he was pretty fast in qualifying. Jeff Green and Kerry Earnhardt almost getting together further back there. Speaking of Jeff Green, both him and Kyle Petty, the 2 Petty Enterprises cars, both in this field. Hendrick has a lot of cars in this field as well. Roush does too, with Mark Martin, Greg Biffle. Hendrick has Jimmy Johnson, Terry Labonte, and Brian Vickers in this, but it is Scott Wimmer right now for Bill Davis Racing. Dave Blaney made the race earlier in duel number 1. Now Scott Wimmer leading duel number 2. Down the back straightaway, all 30 cars flying down the back at over 190 miles per hour in these cars here. These guys doing fast. 203 into the corner, so I guess there's no restrictor plates. Top 5 getting single file. Both of the Penske cars. Rusty Wallace, Ryan Newman in this field. Kenny Wallace in that 00. My voice is going today. But Casey Kane now diving to the inside of Scott Wimmer. Wimmer led 2 laps. Now it looks like it's going to be Casey Kane's turn in that number 9 for Evernham Motorsports. He wants to get up there and battle as well. Battle for the cutoff starting to heat up, and look at Mike Garvey in that 75 getting the push from Phoenix Racing's Johnny Benson. Can Mike Garvey make the show in that number 75 for Hafele Racing? The Jana King sponsored Dodge. The Dodges have been strong in speed weeks. Can he pull it off today? Johnny Benson now making a move with Greg Biffle pushing right up on him. That is illegal. They're pushing him to the apron. Brian Vickers in that 25. He's also trying to make the show. Kyle Petty. Mark Martin in that 6 car. He is right now in the 15th position. Kerry Earnhardt in the 33. Further back, there's Stanboard in the 79. Kevin LePage in the 51. Jimmy Spencer in the 4. Johnny Sauter in the 30. The rookie for Richard Childress Racing looks to be struggling early on here at Daytona, and I swear they were almost 4 wide up front. Casey Mears making some big moves, but now Terry Labonte, your new race leader here at Daytona, just 5 laps in. Jimmy Johnson gets into the wall further back. Morgan Shepherd, the old man, running at 67 years old, I believe it was. He is right now sitting last in the field, but still trying to make his way towards the front. Carl Long, there's Stanton Barrett in that 52. Dale Jarrett in the 88, also stuck behind the slower cars. Johnny Sauter as well. Brian Vickers going all the way to the inside, trying to push that 09 of the Phoenix Racing Johnny Benson machine towards the front. But now Casey Mears and Chip Ganassi Racing, both of his teammates, did not make the show on their finishing position. They were both wrecked at the end of duel number 1. So Mears trying to finish his way in, so those points can go. So those spots can go to his other 2 teammates. 3 wide further back, and that is Mike Garvey still holding strong inside this top 10 with that 75 machine. He could be a big underdog to make the show. Here comes Kerry Earnhardt in that 33. Dale Earnhardt won the race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the duel before this. Can the Earnhardt sweep it this Thursday night? Casey Mears out in front. Johnny Benson now for Phoenix Racing. He's trying to get that 09 up there into that race lead if he could. And the rookie Brian Vickers wants to lead just like his other counterparts, Casey Kane and Scott Wimmer. And now everyone just going to get 2 by 2 heading into the corner. Looks nice and organized for right now. It won't be organized heading down this back straightaway, but 2 by 2 all the way through this field at Daytona. Johnny Benson in that 09 going up to take this race lead. Andy Hillenberg goes up, blocks Jimmy Johnson, so Johnson's going to go to that inside line. Dale Jarrett struggling at the back of the pack. That's a big problem for him. I don't know for any stats. I'm going to stop spitting stats like I know what I'm saying. Look at Eric McClure in the 04. He's up into the top 15. What a run for Morgan McClure Racing here. Jimmy Spencer and Eric McClure both in this race, both looking to make their way into the top 15 to get themselves into the show. Brian Vickers in that 25. Now to your race lead with Hendrick. Hendrick has 2 rookies on their schedule for the Daytona 500. Adrian Fernandez made his way into the show. Mike Garvey bounces off of the wall further back, but it's Brian Vickers, the actual rookie, driving for Rookie of the Year honors this season for Hendrick. Greg Biffle real close to Johnny Benson further back there, but now Petty Enterprises, Kyle Petty and Jeff Green now both into the top 10, looking to make their way into the show by their finishing position, but it is Brian Vickers still holding the lead over Greg Biffle. Up in front with Johnny Benson third, Casey Mears in fourth, with Brian Vickers leading. Kerry Earnhardt getting real close to Terry Labonte further back there. There's Kerry driving the fourth car for Richard Childress Racing. We're going to go on board with the driver who's starting second on the 500 tomorrow, Ryan Newman. He does not need to finish anywhere special this race. He just needs to win, or he just needs to finish the race. So right now, Newman dropping to the back with Scott Wimmer and Kenny Wallace. Mark Martin making moves on the inside with Kevin LePage far along as well. That outside line kind of stacked up down the back straightaway. You see Ryan Newman right now sitting at the very edge of the pack. Ricky Rudd in that 21 also making moves to the inside of him. Got Dale Jarrett in the back as well. Mike Garvey has dropped all the way to 30th. But Andy Hillenberg, Stanton Barrett, and Morgan Shepherd, 3 drivers who had no speed in qualifying right now at the back of this pack. Here comes Casey Mears in that 41, though. Kyle Petty up to 4th. Bill Elliott into 5th, and Eric McClure with Jimmy Spencer, both of the Morgan McClure cars in the top 10. Greg Biffle might have gotten up there and just tapped the wall, but Kyle Petty moves to the inside line, trying to get the Dodge help with him and Bill Elliott on that inside line. 2 by 2, 3 wide a little further back, but now Vickers and Mears, 2 drivers, one in their rookie year, one in their sophomore year, right now out in front. Mark Martin has dropped pretty far back. Stan Boyd trying to make his way up. Kevin LePage in that 51 as well. But Morgan McClure, the big shock tonight, they're both inside this top 10. The field rushes around Daytona. Now Johnny Sauter in that 30. He's going to be a Rookie of the Year contender as of now with Richard Childress Racing. And he had his teammate Robbie Gordon push him up there. Sauter qualified pretty poorly. He started, I believe, 25th in this field. But right now he's up into the top 10, making some moves with Jimmy Johnson right behind him. Jimmy Spencer in that 4 making moves. Eric McClure does not know which line he's going to go to. He's going to just hang on up there. Vickers and Mears continuing to lead 4 wide further back with Carl Long and Kevin LePage. That was close between those guys. It looks like the cooler track tonight is making these guys race a little more cleaner. Here at Daytona, we'll go ahead and give you a quick flyby across the line as they go. That is still Stanton Barrett sitting 30th for Ware Racing Enterprises. Kyle Petty in the 45, he's up to 3rd. 4th is Eric McClure. Jimmy Johnson now getting the push from Casey Kane as well as Greg Biffle. They're up to this front battle now as they go. Bill Elliott almost into that outside wall, but these guys still running down the back straightaway. Joe Nemechek now has fallen to last on the field. He did not run the Bud Shootout in this 01. That was Boris Said. Boris Said ended up finishing 2nd in the Bud Shootout with MB2, and right now Joe Nemechek puts himself last in the field. Kyle Petty now up to 2nd. Back in 3rd, Eric McClure. He's going to have help from Jimmy Johnson once again. Johnny Benson staying inside this top 10. But these guys now starting to be a bit more calm than what duel number 1 is. It looks like the cooler track has cooled the tempers down. And now Jimmy Johnson in that 48. He is on that inside line pushing Kyle Petty up. But Brian Vickers continuing to make history right here, leading a lot of laps in his duel for a rookie driver. That's pretty outstanding. There's still 2 by 2. Everyone staying pretty calm. Everyone just staying in line. 13 to 25. We had a crash before this at this lap, actually. So right now, this duel definitely calmer in comparison. And now Hendrick leads Brian Vickers, Jimmy Johnson. Johnson's not going to even help his teammate. Rick might not be too happy about that. Vickers gets shuffled to the outside. Johnson down to the inside. Jimmy wants to lead this race. Kyle Petty up to third for that 45 car. Can he make some moves? Casey Kane up to fourth. The rookie for Evernham. He is making some moves towards the front as well, but now Greg Biffle ducks to his inside. Johnny Benson is there. Bill Elliott. Eric McClure still in the show as they run. But right now the cutoff point is looking like Rusty Wallace back here battling with Jimmy Spencer. That's about 15th right there. That is your battle that you are witnessing for the spot in the 500. Joe Nemechek very slow in that 01. He is now starting to lose the draft. Stanton Barrett, Mike Garvey, Scott Wimmer is back here as well for Bill Davis Racing, and Mark Martin for Roush Racing. That's a big struggle now. That's Joe Nemechek last season. Brian Vickers back to the front. He's going to move around Jimmy Johnson. Kyle Petty in that 45 getting shot towards the front as well. He's up here in third. Jeff Green struggling a bit further back. Greg Biffle going to stay right together. Eric McClure now pushing these guys down to the bottom of the track. But Bill Elliott, the old man here, he drove that number 9 last season, got kicked out for the rookie, but Evernham's still keeping him on for R&D development. Of course, this is their R&D car. He's up into the 6th position with Stanley Tools, number 91, as Hendrick continues to lead first and second between Vickers and Johnson. Vickers has dominated most of this race. Kyle Petty sits third. Greg Biffle up there now. He's making a move on Kyle Petty. Going to shuffle him out to that outside line. Kerry Earnhardt making a run towards this. Ricky Rudd for Wood Brothers Racing moving on up in that 21. One car into the outside wall. That was Eric McClure, and he's going to come right down in front of teammate Jimmy Spencer. That's not very helpful of him. Going to stack both of them up. Here comes Andy Hillenberg with Morgan Shepherd now making moves towards the front, and that could be for position for a Daytona 500 berth. Stanton Barrett has now gotten help from Mark Martin, Robbie Gordon. The inside line starting to move, but the field's starting to get spread out further back. Jimmy Johnson now takes the race lead. Brian Vickers drops back in that number 25. He's now on that outside line. But Greg Biffle in the 16, he is now up to second, pushing Jimmy Johnson. And Evernham has now teamed up further back with Bill Elliott and Casey Kane. They're back there in third and fourth, trying to move their way on up. Kane's going to tuck behind the mentor there of Bill Elliott. Brian Vickers going to duck back to the inside. Not much help with him, but Ricky Rudd trying to get there. Johnson continuing to lead. Hendrick has had a iron grasp on this race right now. Both Johnson and Vickers have combined for over 12 laps led out of 17. Great run for them right now. But as they run, we'll go ahead and get an update on what the cutoff battle is looking like. And Stan Boyd in the 79, he is right now the driver on the cutoff. But as they go around, Morgan Shepherd, the 89 car, is now the cutoff for the Daytona 500 transfer. Johnny Benson getting shuffled back with Kerry Earnhardt. And now Johnny Benson's in that transfer spot. Here comes Scott Wimmer. He also has Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Green pushing him, Eric McClure, Mark Martin. Ryan Newman is locked into the show. Scott Wimmer is going to take that 15th position away from the 09 to Johnny Benson. Further back, Robbie Gordon held behind it, as well as Terry Labonte, Joe Nemechek, Kenny Wallace in that 00. Stanton Barrett struggling on that outside line with the 46 of Carl Long. Now Newman makes it 3 wide with Stan Boyd, but it is Jimmy Johnson just maintaining this lead. And now Vickers is going to move Greg Biffle once again. Hendrick wants to get first and second right here, and Vickers is going to get the push from Bill Elliott to do so. Down the back straightaway, these guys are running fierce. Casey Kane back down to that inside line. Ricky Rudd now getting the push from Kane to the inside of Kane's teammate Bill Elliott, but Hendrick takes 1-2 again with Johnson and Vickers. Look at Andy Hillenberg, an unsponsored 80. He is now in the top 10, and he is in the Daytona 500 as they run. Morgan Shepherd as well is in it. And the cutoff is Jeff Green in that 43. That is the last driver in the show as they run. Eric McClure, Mark Martin, Johnny Benson trying to make the move. Kyle Petty starting to drop to the back. Brian Vickers taking the lead right back, but you see this battle. Jeff Green is going to have to hold on, tucking right up behind Jimmy Spencer. If he can make a move on him, that could be big for him, but that Petty Motorsports, Petty Enterprises 43, the last car in the show. But now Casey Mears, Bill Elliott on that outside line are going to be the ones dropping back. And finally, someone dethrones the Hendrick cars, and it's Ricky Rudd in that number 21 for Wood Brothers. Rudd making the move to the lead. Casey Kane now looking under him. Andy Hillenberg in that 80. Don't think he won't get some rough to win this race. Morgan McClure getting themselves back into the Daytona 500. Ricky Rudd dropping back on that 21, getting that push from the 9. Vickers staying on the outside line. Johnson's up there with him. Dale Jarrett up there with him. And Vickers trying to power back on the outside line. Drag race back down this back straightaway. Vickers staying right close with Rudd. Jimmy Johnson is holding them on that outside line. Can they make it work? Jeff Green now shoved 3 wide. Vickers trying with the momentum. They're getting aggressive further back. Kane is going to leave Rudd to that outside line. 3 wide across the line. Rudd leads that lap. Vickers now could have just gotten abandoned by Jimmy. Jimmy's going to tuck right back up behind him, but I think Jimmy's going to leave Vickers this time by. And now the race is getting intense with 4 to go. Andy Hillenberg up in the top 15. Eric McClure and Jimmy Spencer both. Morgan Shepherd is up here. Carl Long is into the outside wall. There's Mike Garvey. And everyone is racing hard trying to make the 500. Robbie Gordon has no speed to get up there. Terry Labonte struggling at the back of the pack. Kyle Petty is almost to last. Now Rusty Wallace takes a move for the race lead. Andy Hillenberg in this 80. Could he win this race? Or could Eric McClure? Johnny Sauter in that 30 making pushes towards the front. But Rusty Wallace maintains this race lead. Casey Kane on the outside line. Johnson and Vickers in that Hendrick duo on the outside. As they run the cutoff point, once again, Jeff Green in that 43. He just lost it to Mike Garvey. Mike Garvey in the 75 making the show at this point. Morgan Shepherd bounces off of the wall, almost into Kerry Earnhardt. Now Jeff Green trying to make moves, and Brian Vickers. If Johnny Benson gets around Vickers, Vickers is out of the show after dominating this race. That is the cutoff battle right there, and Brian Vickers is now out of the Daytona 500 as they run. Terry Labonte trying to bring it back in. Everyone rushing off of the corner. It is a huge battle. Rusty Wallace coming down, 2 to go. Andy Hillenberg up in second. Johnny Sauter. You also have Eric McClure in that 04 up here. And Mark Martin, where did he come from? Ryan Newman is inside the top 15. So actually 16th is the next car that is in. So Brian Vickers is in the show. Right now, Vickers sits as the cutoff. But Terry Labonte right behind him. Labonte can get in if there is a champion's provisional, if he has to use it. So he's helping Brian Vickers, pushing that 25 back up there. Kevin LePage in the 51 all the way to the inside. Robbie Gordon in that 31 there. They are 3 wide. Casey Kane gets shuffled out. Ricky Rudd shuffled out. Now here comes Johnny Sauter in that 30 back up. Coming around to the white flag of duel number 2. Rusty Wallace is your race leader. Penske Racing looking to go 2 for 2. In their speed weeks so far. Cars darting around. Stan Boyd making huge moves, but now Rusty Wallace to the lead. Mark Martin is going to get into second with Ryan Newman pushing him. Scott Wimmer, and look at Mike Garvey in that 75 inside the top 15. Mike Garvey ready to make the Daytona 500. Mark Martin down to the inside. Roush Fenway Racing trying. Penske is pushing on the inside. To the outside. Newman back to the inside. Sauter is not going to get there. Mark Martin made the dive coming out of turn number 4. Martin sat in the back this entire race after getting shuffled. Coming off of the corner. 25 laps of clean racing. Mark Martin wins the second duel. Joe Nemechek ends up 30th. Oh, the game froze for a moment. That was scary. But the driver's in. Ryan Newman is in. Jimmy Johnson is the last car into the show. Robbie Gordon is not in. Stan Boyd eliminated. Ricky Rudd's not in. Bill Elliott is not in. Terry Labonte, Kenny Wallace, Jeff Green, Carl Long, Casey Mears, Kyle Petty, Kerry Earnhardt, Morgan Shepherd, Stanton Barrett, Joe Nemechek not in. Mark Martin wins. Ryan Newman second. Scott Wimmer comes up third. And Mike Garvey comes home in the 5th position to make the Daytona 500 for that underdog team. Andy Hillenberg also makes it in. Both of Morgan McClure race their way in. Kevin LePage will make it in for Competitive Edge Racing, but a lot of drivers will have to fall back to points and qualifying. Jeff Green, both of Petty Enterprises might be out of the Daytona 500. Terry Labonte might have to fall to a Champions Provisional. Casey Mears in that 41 as well might have to watch himself. None of Chip Ganassi is in the show as of now, but Mark Martin is the driver taking it home. Let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and save this, and we will get you guys who will be in the Daytona 500 right after this. Okay. So we're going to flip Wait. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Everything is broken, guys. Everything is broken. All right. Crap. Crap. All right, I'm back. I did not realize that I was muted. But what did I end off on? Did you guys hear the qualifying results? I'm going to guess you didn't hear the qualifying results. Qualifying results are this. Jeff Gordon, Robbie Gordon, Jeremy Mayfield, and Matt Kenseth make it in. Joe Nemechek in the 01 does not make it in, just barely. Now we are on to owner's points. So those are the 4 that are in through racing. The owner's points, the 6 owner's points, go to Bobby Labonte in the 18. After that, the Chip Ganassi number 42 of Jamie McMurray. Robbie Gordon's number 31 from Richard Childress. The number 40 of Sterling Marlin in the Chip Ganassi 40 car. The 21 of Glenn Woods, Ricky Rudd, number 21. And the final one goes to Scott Riggs in the 10 car. Meaning the 18 drivers going home. Ward Burton. Yeah. Ward Burton for Gene Haas. Joe Gibbs Racing's J.J. Yaley. The Gene Haas 60 of Jason Leffler. The 92 from Front Row Motorsports of Brad Teague. The number 1 from DEI of Martin Truex Jr. The number 36 from MB2 of Boris Said. The number 90 of Kevin Ray from Dunleavy. The number 79 of Stan Boyd from Conley Racing. The number 43 from Jeff Green of Petty Enterprises. The 00 of Kenny Wallace from Michael Waltrip Racing. The 41 of Casey Mears does not make the Daytona 500. The 46 of Carl Long for Glenn Racing. The 33 of Kerry Earnhardt for Richard Childress Racing. The 45 for Petty Enterprises of Kyle Petty. The 89 of Morgan Shepherd for Shepherd Racing Enterprises. The 52 from Stanton Barrett of Ware Racing. And the 01 from MB2 is out of Joe Nemechek. Those are your 18 drivers heading home from the Daytona 500 without a Daytona 500 chance at a championship. Wait a minute. Without a chance at the Daytona 500 trophy. The Daytona 500 will be live streamed. However, it will not be live streamed tonight. There are multiple people over me, such as the NRUK from Jake Galloway and the NXCCS of Peter Onjek. Tomorrow, most likely not, due to the NASCAR race and due to plans earlier in the morning for me. So we will figure out a time for the Daytona 500 to be live streamed. We'll figure out when. Thank you guys for watching the 2 duels here. We'll see who will be able to crown themselves a Daytona 500 champion later. The official starting grid will be out in the Discord. And for those of you who are going, to drive in the, wait a minute, what, for those of you who want to join this series, if we get enough people that join the Discord for this to make like another 10 teams, the Busch series could start this season. So just let me know on that. If anyone else wants to join in on that, just DM me on Discord. Thank you guys so much for watching the duels, the Gatorade duels for Daytona in this 2004 season. Let's hope this mock seasons can last more than just a few races. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys at the Daytona 500.